Are you ready? Okay, I'm gonna call this Martin Council meeting for July 10th to order with the roll call. Gloria?
Yep.
Larry?
Yep.
Warren?
Here.
Randy? Yes. Judy?
Here.
Tyler?
Yes.
Okay, others present. Jeff Cisco, Doug Macero, Blue, Sheriff Irwin, Anthony, Chuck, Robert, George, Tanner, and Kevin, and Judd, and Mandy, and Sarah Frankenstein. Okay, if you had a chance to look over the agenda. Come on.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Motion by Warren.
I'll second it.
Agenda, what?
I'll second.
Seconded. Now, are you approving it with flexibility or not?
Yes.
Okay. Can you second that motion?
Yes, sir.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Now, the minutes of our last meeting.
Hi, Deidre. I'm gonna put you on speaker. We just got started. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, you're on speaker.
Are you ready for me, or do you
No.
need to do a few things first?
Not quite.
Not quite ready.
Okay.
Okay. What do you think about the minutes of the last meeting? Any corrections, additions, deletions, or printed as such?
Move we accept minutes.
One typo.
Small 8, May 8th, first page.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Small deal,
Other than that.
but I'll second.
Okay, motion by Larry to accept the minutes of the last meeting, it's printed with the correction for May 8th. Second by Randy, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign, motion carried. Finance officers report.
I motion to approve the finance officer's report.
Motion by Warren to approve the finance officer's report. Any questions? If there are none, I need a second, or if you want to look them over, peruse them. I'll wait for a second to that motion.
I'll second it.
Second by Larry. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Claims for July.
On 522, did we have insurance that covered that? What was it for? Pardon me, what was it for? Repair crosswalk light where truck ran over.
Yeah, we do have insurance, but I don't think it was enough.
I think that's what
We need to raise our rates for it.
it was. We bought cameras for the shop. And but we bought them for their airport. I haven't got that one yet. We approved it for their airport. How many cameras did we get for the shop?
Any other questions on claims?
Make a motion to approve the claims for that.
Motion by Randy,
I'll second it.
second by Warren to approve our claims for July. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. The balloon payment this month of $703.
A motion to pay the balloon payment.
Motion by Warren.
I'll second it.
Second by Tyler. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next on the agenda is public comment. Ms. Cross.
My good neighbor would like to reserve time when you get to the law.
Yeah,
I do have a comment on now, on the safety concern down there at the park.
You can make your comment now, but I think that's gonna be addressed under law, but go ahead.
No, on the park, I said, the safety concern is your skates in the horseshoe pit. I was down there and watched the softball game, sitting there in my vehicle by the shelters,
Yeah,
and I seen kids jumping over that, and one kid tripped, but good thing he was going away. My thing is what happens if he comes the other way and runs into that skate and gets involved?
well, council, should we just remove the horseshoe pits?
I mean, any contract that I worked on and that, you have rebar, anything sticking up, you have to have a cap on it. A round cap.
Yeah.
It's a hard plastic cap. But I'm just saying, you know, what happens if the
That's
kid
never
does
gonna
that,
stay
you
on
know?
there.
No, our cap will
You're
just go
behind
in
the
and
legal
heartbeat.
file there.
Does anyone ever see anyone with horseshoes there?
Yeah, that was my question, has anyone ever seen?
I live by the
park, I
see people playing horseshoes. I live by the park, so I see people playing. I mean, maybe not as much as we used to, but maybe in the past,
Cornhole will come in, yeah.
but there's still people that are playing.
Well, maybe we could reposition the pits over on the,
Is
somewhere
there
else.
any way, Gary, of pulling them until somebody wants to use it, and then they can contact the city and have them put in?
I think we concreted them in because they used to disappear.
Well, one's already gone.
I
There's one already gone.
realize that, yeah. Council,
Maybe restraining fence?
it's a softball field fence right there, and them kids run and jump. They have no regard for a fence, so.
Have you ever had a problem before?
Yeah, I didn't, nobody's been impaled before.
No. We'll visit with Paul when he shows up to see what he wants to do. Any other comments? Anthony?
Yeah, I want to publicly thank the Martin Police Department for extending an invitation to me, for offering me the opportunity to do a ride-along with one of its officers this past weekend. I've never been on a ride-along before, and it was interesting to see what one of our officers do on a regular shift. The 3-hour ride-along went by quickly, and I was impressed with the officer's professional conduct throughout my time with him. The officer showed me his patrol routine, and I quickly learned how vehicle drivers respond when they see a police vehicle performing patrol on Highway 18 and 73. I learned how patrols work and how they potentially save lives and led to further arrests. The officer told me how he was diligently worked to get radar and stun gun certification along with other certifications to make him become a better officer. The officer on duty was prudent and exercised restraint in his judgment when issuing warnings over citations. I saw an officer who truly wants to give the driver the benefit of the doubt, but yet enforce the law when necessary. This officer had a copy of all the ordinances and citations readily available. I saw an officer who had good penmanship. I think his former teacher would be proud of how well the citations are written. The citation forms were legible. The officer took advantage of his downtime to fill out citation forms in advance of issuing them to minimize traffic stop time, which I thought was a good idea. The officer was neat in appearance and did not reflect an attitude that would cause discomfort to those who are not in contact with law enforcement personnel on a regular basis. During the 3 hours of ride-along, the officer performed 2 motor assists and also performed community policing at 2 different businesses, which I appreciated as a community member. The officer also shared with me that alcohol intoxication is the #1 issue for the city of Martin. This white lie was confirmed by 2 other officers that I interviewed last summer. Overall, I enjoyed my ride-along experience with this officer. I am proud of the work that our police department is doing. They don't always get the public support or the accolades for protecting the public's safety and well-being. I know the department is stretched and are probably not paid enough for what they do, but I am here to tell you that Chief Lucero and his team should be commended for the work that they do for this community. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any other public comment? If not, we'll move on to the 2023 audit. We're just handed the book of their findings.
We need a motion to go past public comment.
Pardon me?
We don't have a motion to go past public comment.
Deidre, we're ready.
Okay, you all have copies of the book?
Yes.
Okay. There are 2 documents included in there. The first one should be a letter called Communication with Governance. That one just gives a high-level overview of the audit and some of the responsibilities for us and the responsibilities for you guys. We talk about some of the risks that we addressed, some of the corrections that we made, and then there's also a letter attached to that that we asked Jean to sign that tells us that she gave us all the information we asked for. She's looked at the financial statements and they look accurate to her. Then the bigger document is the audit report. So the first 2 pages there are a report that we're required to do because you're a government. And basically this just talks about internal controls. And so we did identify what we call a finding, and that's actually detailed out on page 3. This is probably not one that you've probably seen this before. So an internal control weakness related to hiring us to prepare the year-end financial statements. Jean gives us all the documentation. She gives us access to all the records and supporting schedules that she's got, but we pulled together this package for you. And so generally when we do that, we consider that to be a deficiency because technically that's your responsibility. So any questions on that?
Council?
All right, then the next couple pages here, let's see, 4, 5, and 6 are the independent auditor's report. So the part of this that is the most relevant to you is the second paragraph. This just says that the financial statements are fairly presented in all material respects. So that's what you want that to say. And then just going through this, I usually skip to about page 10, but I think the fund statements are more relevant to you than the government-wide statements. So page 10 just details the cash balances and then the fund balances, so you've got some restrictions there for your general fund and your DDB fund. Your general fund cash is about $2.3 million and your DDB cash is $40,000. And if we look at pages 11 and 12, that's the detail of the receipts and disbursements there for each of those funds. So your general fund, you actually had more revenue than expenses for the year by about $340,000. And part of that is the general fund does include the liquor fund. So when you're looking at that, the way we have to pull this together, those are combined. And then your BBB, you had about $54,000 more revenue than expenses.
That goes away pretty quickly.
Yep. Then page 13 is just the assets for the water, sewer, and sanitation fund. And page 14 is the revenues and the expenses there. So if you look at about halfway through the page on page 14, you have your operating income or loss. So your water fund has operating income of $152,000. The sewer fund had operating income of $43,000. The sanitation fund had a loss of about $3,300. You know, when you look then at your capital outlays, which would be any, you know, major capital purchases, and then also your debt payments there, your water fund actually generated revenue of about $102,000. Your sewer fund generated about $21,000. And then sanitation used about $3,300 of cash. So any questions about the numbers?
Council? No?
All right, then the next set of pages here are all just footnotes. The ones that I think are the most relevant to you are, start on page 22. There's a table there that summarizes the long-term debt commitments of the city. So you just can get a feel for how much is still outstanding. And then on page 23, the current maturities are listed there. So when you're budgeting, you have a good idea of what you need to be including there. Another page that I would call to your attention is the budget schedule. They'll start on page 31. So you've got the general fund listed shown there, and then also the DDB fund. When you look at your general fund, you were actually performed better than your budget. For your receipts, you came in $258,000 ahead of where you expected to be. On your expenses, you actually spent $385,000 less than you expected to. So your budget, your net change in fund balance, you were expecting a loss of $100,000, and you actually had net income of $400,000. Again, this includes the liquor fund, so that is maybe a little bit misleading there. And then if you look at the next page, you've got your DVD fund where that was pretty close. You did not have near the amount of disbursement that you budgeted for, but, you know, pretty much in line there. So any questions about the audit?
Did we pass?
Yeah.
Good.
You know, I think everything went pretty well. We came down for a day, and had Gene and Tiff just real busy getting us stuff. But, you know, I think it's something that we can keep doing in the future to maybe just spend a day down there or whatever that looks like to make things a little bit easier for Gene, so it doesn't have to scan everything to us. But you guys really do have good controls. You've got good processes and procedures in place. It looks like you're following those. Gene keeps real good records, so it makes our job a little easier.
I know we get gigs because we don't have oversight, because we don't have enough personnel in the office. Is that always gonna be a problem?
So in the past, you had a finding for that. We actually took that out this year because the council is very involved in oversight and the mayor. So, you know, if you get changes in that, in those positions, you might need to reevaluate, or we would reevaluate. But, you know, you guys are looking at all the bills, you're looking at the bank recs, you're looking at some of the different documents and financial reports. I mean, you're providing enough oversight there that I don't really think there's
Anything further, council?
Is there a better way of predicting, like, an overage like we had of 400,000 in the budget?
I think that that's really related to the inclusion of the liquor fund there.
Okay.
Yeah, because
You
usually
guys are generating so much revenue there, and you just don't really have much for expenses.
Okay, I just had a question on that.
because the liquor fund used to be all a standalone fund, and then when we leased it out, they wanted to move it into the general fund. Normally, the general fund doesn't have excess money in there.
Oh, okay. Well, I just,
We got some of it from COVID helped a lot with the excess, getting more money in the general fund, but normally we spend more in the general fund than we could get.
Do we have any issues with the amount that we can carry over at the end of the year, like we used to have in the school district? There's no ramifications there? We have too much money left over?
No, there's no legal requirements on the city, but, you know, your constituents might have an issue with how much cash you got.
Okay.
But, you know, that's one good road project.
Exactly.
More or less.
Or a sidewalk
Well-
project,
Or well.
or well.
Right, right.
Well, thank you. I don't believe the council has anything else on the audit.
Yes.
I motion to approve the audit.
Motion by Warren to approve the audit for 2023. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Tootie. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Deidre.
All right, next on the agenda, George, Meals on Wheels.
Thank you very much. It's nice to hear there's excess when you come asking for money. So again, my name is George Larson. I'm the executive director for Meals on Wheels, Western South Dakota. I came last time in front of you guys in March, and since then we finished our fiscal year, which ended June 30th. Just kind of do a review of the situation. We took over the program a year and a half or so, 2 years ago, whatever it's been now, when the existing program wasn't able to continue going. We've seen a lot of increase of things through the couple years. But as it stands right now, we are looking across all of western South Dakota of a deficit of about $300,000. 100,000 of that deficit is because of Martin, South Dakota, and I cannot keep doing it the way we're doing it that way and keep running that. Our reserves are pretty much gone, so we don't have the ability to keep going the way it is. We are going to be looking and are asking right now the state to hopefully step up next year with additional funding to help cover across all the programs across the state are kind of in the same boat. Massive increases in costs, things like that. We need to get to the point where we actually can keep going through the point where we can get more legislature funds. So right now I'm asking, first off, I'll tell you what we're at. Right now we're doing about 20 people in congregate setting and about 80 people in the home delivered setting. The congregate setting for the most part is pretty close to being revenue neutral. People that can come down to the congregate site, have the ability to donate pretty well, and the per meal donation is about $4 a meal, which is fabulous. It gets pretty darn close to covering our costs. But the people we do the home delivery meals to just don't have the resources or the ability to donate right now. And so due to that, and due to a lot of other things, we've unfortunately had to come to the decision that effective October 1st, we're going to have to cut our total meals provided from 110 a day to 25 a day and be able to increase that by 1 a day for every $1,320, which works out to be $5 a meal. for 250 days a year that we can get. We'll increase that number from the 25 per day, 25 people per day. We'll increase that one person for every 1,320 we can raise locally, which means about 75, 80 people will be going off the program October 1st if I can't come up with additional funds to cover the shortfalls that we're seeing in the area. Ways to do that: one, time, talent, treasure. Treasure, you guys would write me a check for 90 grand, we're done, I'll go home and do that, which I don't think that's gonna happen today. Other option is that 90,000 we're short. If we divide it up to 3, that's 30,000 for the city, 30,000 for the county, 30,000 for the tribe. We've got 10,000 for the tribe so far, 5,000 from the city, and 5,000 from the county, all for the last fiscal year. Again, we're starting a new fiscal year. I don't have the excess reserves to keep going the way it is, and so a change will be made. I can't close the entire program because of the deficit. Deidre's also our accountant for our audit, and last year we actually had a line on our audit that without changes and reductions, the longevity of the program is in doubt. We can't keep doing it. So again, a change has to be made. I'm here asking the city of Martin for $30,000 for FY 2025. Again, every 1,320 that I don't have towards that will be reducing by senior that won't be able to get meals. So. Other ways that people can help. Right now we're doing all of our labor through paid labor. Basically my shortfall is my labor expense. If we can get enough volunteers to help and get down to it's just Mary, maybe one other person helping there versus the 4 people we got going there, every single person we can get someone volunteering their time saves about $25,000 a year versus having to pay somebody to do that. So again, the community can come together, take turns, alternate for a position. That's $25,000 right there that I don't have to pay a salary going out. So that's where I'm at. I'm here to answer any questions I have. I'm just letting you know as of October 1st, we're going to be cutting the program down to 25 people, which about 80 people will be again losing their meals daily because of that.
We used to have TANF people work there. I remember whenever I was, a lot of people that work over there, but TANF was free labor for that type of situation. Do you guys not see that anymore?
We don't have any TANF currently.
Council, any ideas? I doubt if we can spend any money here very much. I mean, you look at all the other stuff that we got coming up. But it's up to you. Have you thought about raising the rates at the center over here?
Unfortunately, I cannot for people that will be reimbursed from our federal and state contract have a payment price. I can limit how many meals I do on a donation basis, but for those meals that I get reimbursed by 523 from the state and federal contract, I cannot say, Mr. Mayor, you gotta give me $10 or else you don't get a meal.
I usually do.
I know, but again, it's a voluntary basis. You know what I mean? I can't say you have to pay.
Yeah.
That's not allowed. I lose my $3 million a year contract if I do that.
And it sounded like the other problem was too, the people that you deliver to don't pay.
The people, right now, the congregants donations for people that are dining the 22 a day is about $350-ish, $344. The per meal donation for people we deliver to in the home delivered situation works about 80 people a day is about 70 cents a meal. But again, the people that are home delivered are probably the ones that need it the most, but unfortunately the ones that can least afford to deliver to this moment in time.
And so how much of this money goes to the executive office?
Zero. The 528 that we get from the state, $1.60 of that goes towards all the costs from paying Deidre, the accountant, to paying me, to paying the person that does the accounting at the office. All the rest of that goes towards food, and the remainder we're short is paying for the salaries of the employees here.
So when you lose 80 people, how are you gonna pick the 25 most needy people?
That's a very, very good question. I don't know how we're gonna do that. Again, what we'll probably do is have a situation where we will have to say, we're gonna do congregate dining plus 5 home delivered meals. And I'm not sure how to do that, so we've never done it. We've never put a wait list. We've never had a situation where someone signs up. We have to say, no, we can't deliver your meals. It's a whole new thing for me, and I'm not sure how to make those decisions because I guarantee you that 70 of those people need the meals. So
And you're saying 25,000 for each person that donates their time to work over
Correct.
there would be
the equivalents.
equivalent for what you're asking.
Correct. Rough numbers. Okay, it's up to you.
In the old days, did we have Meals on Wheels? We just had the senior center over across by the pizza shop. So we didn't deliver meals then, evidently.
Again, I don't know what you did before my time frame, and unfortunately records were lost for what they had before that. Where you know what they were doing as far as home delivered meals versus congregate meals at that time?
Before Meals on Wheels out in western South Dakota got involved, we did deliver. We did have
Takeout meals.
Huh?
They had takeout meals. I remember that, but a lot of people haven't got them.
Right, they did that, and we did deliver.
Oh,
We had a vehicle, and we did deliver meals.
well, council, if you don't have any motions, we're gonna move on.
I mean, if we could, I don't know, you the budget and everything, if we could get 2 people to work there, that essentially what he's asking for. It'd be hard for me because I work a restaurant right next door, and I'd be cutting my lunch out completely if I help. But maybe we need to try and help that in that way. Because I'd help people know that could help the situation if there's people volunteering their time to help. Because it's my first time I've heard of that they could help the whole situation if there's people helping.
That's part of my role here is kind of setting a situation where time, talent, and treasure are the 3 things. Again, treasure, if I could check for $80,000, that'd be great. I realize that's not possible. But everybody, for the most part, has a little bit extra time or knows somebody who they can talk to who has a little bit extra time kind of thing. And so that's easier. You can't write the check in a little bit of time. And so between all of us, I'm just here to try and facilitate so that the seniors of Martin are taken care of. You know, we're serving about 10% of the population right now. And so we really want to try our best to make sure that those people that really need it continue to get it. So thank you for suggesting that.
Do you do anything at all with donated food?
We can. You bet.
I mean, I used to take a lot of stuff out there when I had big gardens and stuff like that, and they were most appreciative of it. And a lot of people did.
You bet.
And it made quite a difference.
And that's another way to get out there that people, again, time, talent, treasure, that's a talent for gardening. We can take anything from your garden that you can produce. You can't take non-inspected meat, but any garden products we're glad to have. And that reduces that food cost by quite a bit by having those. Just don't give us 400 pounds zucchini, please.
Chuck?
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
What is the percentage of white versus native
So right
here in Bennett County?
the percentage in Bennett County, I'm not sure Bennett County's numbers. I can find out pretty quickly for you. Does anybody know the percentage right now?
I mean, for the Meals on Wheels.
Oh, for the Meals on Wheels, I believe that there's 45 Native Americans that are currently being served Meals on Wheels, last number I looked at, out of the 110. 45 or 60, depending which day you looked at.
Well, I mean, what do you deliver? I mean, say if they were every day, you know.
Mhm.
I mean, you can't say, well, I'm not getting it today because I got an appointment. You still gotta count that person as a meal.
Well, if that person isn't there a lot, we ask them to let us know and we don't prepare a meal for them.
But,
That generally isn't a large problem here.
I was just wondering if maybe the one entity needs to have a little more input than what the other ones, you know what I'm saying? To cover the cost. Go percentage wise.
I'm open to any conversations that people would like to help me start. Again, that's my job here, is to start the conversation, letting you know what
I
will
know
happen
it's supposed to
October
be a
1st.
50-50 deal, but in the real world, it don't work out that way. Might be a 30-70, you know?
Well, council, we're gonna have to move on.
That,
I
thank you.
was gonna set a timer and give you 5 minutes, but
Okay.
I know this is important, so.
I guess I motion to table it from the council meeting. We could maybe try and figure out something as far as figuring out people to volunteer and stuff like that, or whether it's budget may help.
Motion by Warren to table this, put it on the agenda for next month, so we can come up with solutions. Is there a second or discussion? Second by Gloria. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Huh?
I'm gonna abstain.
You're gonna abstain. Fine. So those opposed and one abstain. All right. Thank you, George. Next on the agenda is Fair Board donation. And you have a letter in your. Oh, okay. I have the letter. June 27, 2024. Dear Martin City Council, the Bennett County 4-H Achievement Days Rodeo is fast approaching in Bennett County. The dates for this event are scheduled for August 7th through the 11th, 2024 at the Bennett County Fairgrounds in Martin. In the past, the city of Martin has graciously donated $1,500 to be used for the barbecue and the rodeo, which brings several local community members and out-of-town competitors to the area. With the donation, we do fly your flag and hang up a city banner during the rodeo, and at the barbecue, your name is up on the donor board. I am hoping that I count on your donation again this year to help with these well-attended annual events. Sincerely, Mary Kay Sell, 4-H Program Advisor, or rodeo Secretary.
What were the dates again?
7th through the 11th of August,
We donated 15.
1,500.
What can we take it out of?
BBB.
I make a motion to take it out of the BBB fund then.
Motion by Tyler to donate $1,500 for his program out of BBB. Warren seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Now, I do not have a thing on Legion Baseball, do I? Maybe I do. No, that's golf tournament.
That's the baseball game, isn't it?
No, that's not
That's pin prizes and golf cart rental.
not for the baseball. We've given them, usually there's somebody here asking for the baseball.
But they haven't been helping the community any at all, have they?
It's in the car washes phone.
Well, moving on. David Livermont Drainage. David isn't here. Moving on.
You guys wanna talk about it? Jeff came,
Oh,
Jeff.
Jeff was here. So far, every time it's rained, our city foreman and myself, several other people have went down there, and the water drainage goes under the road, around his yard, and keeps going north. And after I visited with FEMA, the FEMA representative was here. Here comes Jeff. He can probably enlighten you a little more. But the thing FEMA is worried about is East River. where they went underwater. And so far, Mr. Livermont's ditch is contained and passed the water around the block. Jeff, you want to say anything about the situation with FEMA and the report that we got?
So, in the hazard mitigation plan, we wanted to widely cover that point. As we do in that hazard mitigation plan, we often cover things in a broad way, that way we're not limited. If we ever find a grant or anything on what we can do. But anyway, so the hazard mitigation plan takes a look at all the natural hazards we could have here, the things we experience like blizzards and thunderstorms, things like that, and things we can do now to mitigate those and make them not as bad when they do happen. The reason, well, FEMA requires that we have this plan, or you can't get FEMA money on some projects. The other thing that it does, sooner or later, FEMA, when you put in an application for something like this to fix flood somewhere, raise a road, redo a water line or a sewer line or something like that, that they would qualify to pay for it if you don't have the hazard mitigation plan. If you don't have it mentioned in your hazard mitigation plan, you may not get your money. So I don't know what you said before I came back in, but
I was explaining to the council that Foreman Knoll and several council members, myself, have been down there during the rain, and the ditch has handled all the water.
it's handled everything I've seen.
Yeah. So
Was the issue with the water going into the basement or something?
that's what he claimed 20 years ago, he had water in his basement.
Maybe he needs to have better water line on the basement.
Downspouts.
Some gutters in there, cause I've been down there too, but
Yeah.
get a big bad storm, I love the trees down, I would cruise down there just to see if it flooded.
Right.
Or the other day when the ditches down by, the dollar stores were full. And
Oh, yeah.
The parking lot there we didn't have any, you go down by Randy's old house and that whole ditch was full, but if you stand on Main Street, his house is uphill.
Right.
I would say if he's got water in his basement, it's because he needs gutters on his house. Or next time there's water, it rains, maybe call one of the bus coming up, or two of us. Go look. I wouldn't mind, I'll go look, see. Maybe he's right, I don't know.
Okay, next on the agenda, because there's nothing further, we'll move on to law. Chief?
For the month of June, we had 12 arrests, 2 of those being misdemeanor warrants, 1 being a felony warrant, 3 of those being juveniles. We had 134 calls for service and 28 traffic stops.
Any questions for the chief?
Why does it say executive session?
Why does it?
Yeah, under law,
We just put it in there.
just in case.
Yeah, just in case. Okay,
Personnel.
Huh?
2.1.
Yeah, personnel.
you got anything for personnel? Okay. Okay, next on the agenda is contract law.
Before we get into any discussion on that, I would appreciate somebody moving to go into executive session under the provision that's indicated to consult with the legal counsel about contractual matters.
I'll make a move, to executive section on, what is that, 1, 2, 5, 2, 3.
Who all do you want in there, Sarah? Just us?
Yep.
Okay. Is there a second to Gloria's motion? Second by Randy. We'll be in executive session at 6:14 p.m.
Is there anything else I need to report?
No, sir, thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Direct the city attorney to engage in the negotiations with the state's attorney.
I second.
Motion by Tyler, second by Warren, for negotiations to commence. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next on the agenda is street signs.
I'm the one who put that on there.
All right.
And from what I understand, we've had street signs on order for 3 years.
Yeah.
What's going on with that?
Any word, Paul?
No, if I'd have known about it, I could have called somebody to find out when that grant's supposed to come through, but they're supposed to come through town and change every sign that we have, street signs, stop signs, yield signs, everything.
Really?
Yeah, for free. Even all the posts, I changed all of our posts to Telespar, and they said it doesn't matter, we're pulling all that out of the ground and putting all new Telespar in.
Did it save the old folks?
Oh, yeah, yeah. But it seemed like it kept getting pushed back, and I thought it was supposed to be 24, wasn't it, Gene, last we heard?
Yeah.
I thought, but like I said, if I'd have had a heads up, I could have called somebody and find out.
Okay.
I mean, 'cause I know we have some, I started on street signs on Snob Hill working this way, and I just quit because why pay for them if we're gonna get them for free?
Well, you're not wrong,
But we do
Yeah,
need
yeah.
some, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
they're falling apart pretty bad. And it's mostly a safety concern if we're having new officers or people,
Ambulance?
or the ambulance don't know where they're going. I
Yeah.
know that was a big problem for the city police is the new guys weren't from here
yep,
for a while.
And then the Marcota being on East State Street, East State Street's not labeled as East State Street at all. I live on that street too, so like there's nothing
Oh,
that
they-
designates that as an East State Street.
They have a terrible time with directing people to that business as well. I mean, you see the street signs, they're pretty rough.
yep,
If you could look into that, I'd really appreciate it, maybe,
yep.
motion
Hey, but
to-
white signs are on the thing, so we got that radar sign. Where are we wanting that? Are you guys wanting that east or south?
Well, that was east.
East.
So put it about in the same spot where it is versus the 35 coming into town from the west. We have it within what, probably 25 feet there. Put
Yeah.
it at that 35 out there. Okay. Because I'll have to put in a permit to occupy the right of way for the state and everything, but
Okay. And we'll put street signs back on the agenda next month.
Yeah, when we have some more info,
yep.
all right?
Next on the agenda is generator.
Could we, talk to Paul about, that horseshoe pit?
Oh, there's some concerns about a kid jumped the fence down there and almost landed on a horseshoe pit stake. So
Where,
at the park, by the two little pergolas or whatever you call them.
so you want those taken out? Because a lot of people do play horseshoes down there.
Is there?
I mean, the thing is, there should be no kids on the fence.
I know.
No, these were kids just jumping the boards. I
Oh,
seen one kid trip and he
oh,
was running.
so do we need to label them as horseshoe pit so they're aware of it, or?
Gotta have to cover the cap.
Or
Yeah, that ain't gonna stick through there.
I know.
Or you want to get rid of them, or what do you want to do?
Can we put two posts in there and a board across the top so they can't jump over it? I mean, they're gonna climb on it, and if we put caps on it, they're gonna steal them.
Would just putting a sign that says danger, possible impalement, I mean, like.
Whatever you wanna do.
Liability wise.
Because liability, I mean,
Well,
like,
our insurance has never said anything about the horseshoe pits.
No, they've had swing sets and stuff on there, but never nothing on the horseshoe pit.
So they're not considering it.
okay.
But whatever you guys want me to do, I'll sure do down there.
Or what you could do is get a sign and put on there like they do at rodeos or wherever you have a horse event. You know, you're at your own risk.
Okay, let's move on to generator, it's already after 7. Paul, you have the floor.
Well, it's just, we didn't qualify for that FEMA grant, but Gene was saying we had some COVID money or something, and we had to use it or lose it, and that generator would qualify for that.
We have like 15,000 left of the COVID money. That has to be paid or used by the end of 2024.
And then you have to use $3,253 over that.
So
I mean, that's $18,000.
What's the generator for?
the shop.
The shot,
Oh,
when the power went out for 4 hours, try to look for them garage doors.
oh yeah?
I think me and Ty did.
Somebody make a motion, we buy this thing or move on or whatever.
I make a motion that we purchase the generator with the COVID funds.
and $3,253 from general fund.
22, you said 60.
And I second it.
What's that?
Motion, you say you
I
have
think-
16,000?
15. I
Oh.
think all you need to do is make
Okay,
a motion to purchase the generator.
Okay.
motion by
Use
Tyler,
the
second by
remainder.
Warren to purchase the generator for the city shop. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next on the agenda is council pay.
So I looked at some of the towns around us, Kadoka, their council pays $1,200 a year, but I didn't see anything in their thing on how if they do anything per meeting, so I couldn't really find a whole lot in Kadoka. But Philip has council pay at $400 a quarter, and then $65 a meeting, where we're at $85 a meeting, and then $375 for half a year. And then Alistair council pay, which is a smaller town than ours, is $100 per month and $40 per meeting, and they do 2 meetings a month. So they're sitting at about like 2,100 to 2,200 in total for council pay. I didn't see the mayor pay for that, but the mayor's usually double the council for the other cities. Except for Kadoka, where it was only $120 more for the annual salary thing. So we're sitting like probably about $400 or $500 behind what comparable towns to ours are for city council pay as it sits right now. And I don't know whenever they voted theirs in either. So this could be their really old budgets, and they could have new budgets. Like this was from really January, where I pulled these numbers from. I pulled it whenever Jay had brought it up in the old city council, and that's whenever I had all those documents pulled. So that's what I was going to say about it. So I suggest that we maybe raise it a little bit, just so maybe younger people would find it more appealing to become part of the city council because of the time and investment and everything that comes along with being on city council, doing different boards and doing other things outside of just the meeting that's been taking until 9 o'clock from most of the meetings that I've been to anyway. So that would be my suggestion, is to raise it by $400 or $500, whether that be through increasing the council pay for the year or doing it per meeting basis. Like that's my suggestion.
What do we get per meeting?
85,
85, and
$375 every half a year, every 6 months.
That's 7. Is it 7?
When I was originally thinking about running, I didn't talk to anybody. Nobody, I mean, everyone's got families, they got to go to work, pay bills. Same. I mean, Warren, everybody probably lose $500 a night just being here on council nights. It's part of the gig though. You want to attract the younger crowd, people are struggling hard. I would say up it. Because didn't you have a hard, I mean, how'd you get appointed? Was it hard to find people to appoint, Gary?
What's that?
Was it difficult to find
No.
people to appoint? Oh, okay, never mind, maybe I'm wrong. But if you wanted younger people to do it, you have to make it worth people's time to do it. And I don't know about you guys, but Lori and I put a lot of hours in lately on the law board.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind a raise for everybody, if everybody on the council did like what you and I are doing on the law board, and I'm off to Barcode, checking on the lifeguards. Is anybody else?
Yes?
Oh, not you.
You don't count, Gary.
I know. Yeah, I can't say anything.
And the parks
It's up to the council.
and everything, but put a lot of time in on this law, and the old one. Barcode
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, the law.
And then the other thing is too, is a lot of the other city councils don't do 6 months, they do per month or quarterly
So how does the 3% raise figure with your wages?
A 3% wage.
When was the last time a wage was given?
I don't know.
Increase. You're gonna prorate it or just start off with 3% raise?
A
from your
3% raise would be 1,800 from the current, from what we currently have. If we did a 3% raise, it would be 1,800. So it'd still be shy, with smaller towns, it'd still be shy like $300.
Well, it's up
When
to
was
you
the
guys.
last? I think it was in 16.
16, so 8 years ago.
It's up to you guys. I can't.
You can't vote.
No, I can't even make a motion, so.
So my thing would be, I would think that it'd be better to try and get people to show up per meeting, so I feel like the bulk of the things should be meeting based, more than increasing that, like, somebody getting on city council and getting shot with the money. But that's what I would think would be more applicable, in my opinion. But also, the other city councils kind of have their set to higher for just yearly, and then the meetings are lower, but.
Is that a motion?
I motion for,
What does the rest of the council think?
I-
Pay raise wise, what's fair? Does anyone have any opinion on it? One way or another?
I'm fine with the way it is. I didn't do this job to have to make money.
Either that.
Nor
I do it as a civic service, and we're trying to do a civic service for the people of the community. And we've got lots of bills and things and that, and I'm more interested in standing up for the city and the bills that we need to pay and taking care of the city of Mark, not myself. That's how I feel.
We don't get a raise, we might have money for Meals on Wheels.
Yeah.
I'm not for a raise, I don't need a raise.
No motion? Died for lack of a motion?
Fine with me.
Okay, moving on. Personnel. We got anybody personnel? We gotta go in executive session.
That was me.
Huh?
I think, yeah, that was me.
Okay,
Just for 2 minutes.
okay. So we'll be in executive session at 7:30.
Who's saying?
I'll make a motion.
Randy made a motion to go into executive session at 7:30. Is there a second? Second by Warren. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Council.
Are you guys all done with me?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You guys know the thing as well?
Everybody's back in? Is that being recorded?
I'm recording.
Okay, I motion to raise 15 Bennett to 1950
Motion by Warren, second by Tyler to raise clerk's wages to $19.50 an hour. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next on the agenda is building permits.
We have 2.
We have Jocelyn, Ferdinand, Kirk. They're gonna put up
We just got this one.
6-foot privacy fence around their backside of their house.
Rachel, what are you,
Good,
can I answer your question?
sure.
Rachel, what are you doing? We were talking about Jocelyn. Yeah, okay, I'll wait.
No,
Okay, go ahead.
all those in favor of approving a backyard fence for these folks,
6 foot. 6 foot.
6 foot. Somebody gonna make a
I
motion?
motion to approve the building permit for
Okay.
Jocelyn Bird to construct a 6-foot privacy fence in the backyard.
I'll second.
Motion by Warren, second by Tyler to accept the building permit for the birds. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Now I need someone else to sign this.
Are you on the? Rachel, what are you building on in your house, Rachel? I
I didn't sign it, I
I couldn't read that. What does that say?
Oh, I don't know, I didn't even read it, it's my husband's writing.
Oh, that must be the reason.
Alteration. This is,
Oh, alteration.
Maybe this
Bill,
is,
I don't, this is on the house.
Their house.
No,
no,
across the
where
street.
we live is a pasture. What we want to do is put it, we want to build onto our house that we bought from Arnold Miller. We already had a building permit and I
Several times. Several permits.
Not for that. We had other permits for other ones, but this one we didn't.
We've had permits for that house several times. You come in and got permits for that house several times.
We did the roof, we did the roof and we added an addition on 12 by 18. I was telling Joel that it was 8 by 20, but it wasn't. It was 12 by 20 by 18. My husband wants to finish out the west side and to the front so that it will take out that, it's that little catty corner right there. And then the front door is on the other side. And we would like to do this. Now, we had gotten a letter of abatement. And I called Joel about this. And I told him, I said, we're going to have to do something. We have hundreds and thousands of dollars involved in this. Whether you realize it or not, we have, Arnold wanted us to buy this place. Then we, while it was empty, there was a fire. So we tore out the fire part, we put in the parts, and refixed the, parts underneath. Anyway, then we put this big addition on there, built a, I'm sorry guys, getting nervous, and my words are not coming out very well. But we built a master bedroom, a master bath, and then he just told me not too long ago that he's going to, I thought he was squaring it out so that it would meet the 18, but he's not. He's only taking that northwest corner, and I don't know exactly. I can show you where it is on there, but I don't know what the measurements are. Jean told me to go ahead and have him draw it out, and the inside, we have taken some of the walls out, but the floor is sound. Bill said, Rachel, he said, well, I thought he had seen it after the, oh, I forget what day it was, the 7th of 23. And he said, no, that was the time that you left work and you came so that you could, do this. So I could see it. Okay, he said here that he had a drive-by on the property on 6/17/24, and it shows that the house on the property is still in a dangerous condition, not because nothing has deteriorated except some of the children got a hold of the tie back and pulled it off of the addition. We do have plywood on the windows because we have windows, all except for 4 for the whole house. We have to buy 2 small windows and we need 2 large ones. We have the insulation, over half of the amount of insulation that we need for the house. We have no finished flooring except for the master bath, but the finished flooring we can pick up once we decide. Well, he knows where the rooms are. I don't. We have a hot water heater that we bought, which was one of these that saves on the electricity. And then we have all the electrical work. We have the large main box. We have wire for all the electric. And we have the connections and the boxes to go into the walls. We had to tear all the wiring out because when it did burn, we had to strip all of that out. And plus, with the new arrangement of the rooms, it was going to require it was going to require different places for boxes and get more boxes in there. We have almost all the plumbing stuff and fixtures. We have the commodes, we have vanities, and we have the light. This is what we have on hand. I do not have to, like I said, we have spent thousands. We have it in storage right now because we cannot get to that. We have fought like dogs to try to do the outside aesthetics. And Joe just told me, Rachel, go tell the council what you're telling me. Because we have
that, he did not say that.
Oh, excuse me, he did. Yes, he did. He told that to me on the phone.
He's got you on a list of abatements. To be
No, he
abated.
did not say that to here. He said that on the phone when I called him.
So 305 Silver Street abated or being moved to the new
Yeah.
area?
Mm-hmm.
So if they got the building permit approved, would that take them out of abatement?
I'm sure it would.
Well, I would wish that you would. You know, I really felt bad last meeting because, Mr. Reagan, you made me feel like you wanted my husband to die. Because you said, well, Rachel, what are we going to do when your husband dies? I told someone that and they said, he said that? Like, what is the problem with you wishing my husband to die?
I did not.
You didn't say that. I have it right here.
Yeah, that's fine.
But what I'm trying to say is the fact that that is when we plan to move. We bought this so that when we leave the pastorate, we have a house to go to. I do not have any place else to go. My folks are gone. I have a sister who lives in New Mexico. I have one who lives on the east side of the state. I have a daughter that lives in Alabama and ready to move. I have a son who lives here in town. I have native children that are various places.
So Rachel, can I interrupt you? What exactly are you asking the city council to do?
I would like to have a building permit so that we can get our house under control. Now, when I talked to Joel the other day, he said to me, well, we're still gonna have to take it down. I said, why would you take my house down when that's where we're living? I mean, we're going to move in there.
So what is your notice of abatement, or if anybody else knows, what exactly is it that Joel determined needs to be done? And does the building permit alleviate Joel's concern?
He said that it's going to be, the abatement's going to be in October. My husband I told you last time, my husband wasn't going to be back till the 15th. And so I told you at that time that, the next week, he went to Rapid for 4 times, doctor's appointments. He was home on Friday, Saturday, we had church on Sunday, because we pastored. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we had to go to the doctor again. These are appointments that I got in late tonight because we got back from a doctor's appointment. I am not trying to be naughty. I am begging mercy from you folk so that we will be able to work our house to get it so that we can live in it. That's all we want.
Rachel, who's gonna help build it?
My husband isn't
By himself?
I don't know. We're going to see if my son will help. We're going to see if maybe a nephew will help. But what I'm trying to say, he has not been able to work in there because he's been working on the outside.
The abatement for no occupancy, and if they're planning on moving into that house, I don't know why we would knock down the building that they're planning on moving into. And they're asking for a building permit to bring it more up to living quality.
They've had building permits for the last several years.
Not for that function.
And yet there's been no improvement on it.
Oh, yes.
I don't-
Yes, it has.
If we're gonna knock down a building for no occupancy, I wouldn't suggest a house that they're trying to fix.
We're just going by guy's hired a code enforcement officer, and That's what we're going by.
I don't agree with that, personally. And personally, I motion to approve her building permit to get her house more obsolete and sounding.
Well, I do know that my husband has dropped off a job that he's had for 48 years as being the secretary of the denomination that we were with. He told me, I'm not going to do that. And he's dropping out some other things because he's going to donate his time directly to this. We have paid, I told you last time, that we've paid out oodles of dollars, hundreds of dollars, to try and get some of the aesthetics taken care of, only to find out it's a wreck. And I said, what is it? Well, that wood that's out there. Well, the wood is what's going to go on the outside of the new thing, the new addition.
He abated it for no occupancy, not for what it looks like, is what this says.
I know,
So-
but he said before,
Yeah,
in
I
June.
get what you're saying, but I'm trying to help.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get this approved.
What I would suggest is that you table this until you talk to Joel Johnson, because what I want to know is if that particular request for a building remodel or redo would satisfy his concerns. So what Joel Johnson is saying, the condition of the property at this time is sufficiently bad enough to issue a no occupancy label. It's not occupiable, shows the house is in dangerous condition, still in a state of decline. So by just changing, one little area, I'd like to know if Joel Johnson says that makes it occupiable now.
We do have some walls that we had stripped out because of the wood being weak. And so we put in new wood. But I'm just telling you this, he did say that I could sign a paper early and ahead of time for $3,000 instead of the $4,000 that the church had to pay.
What I would say is you should make an informed decision, and right now we don't have the information you really need from Joel Johnson. So what you need to know is why is the house not occupiable? It seems doubtful to me that to, renovate one little area, the house would make the whole house occupiable. I don't know, but I think Joel Johnson needs to explain to you whether that fixes the problem or what the problems are.
Oh, no, that's not what I'm trying to tell you. We're going to add on this little place.
That's my concern, is that if your house is not occupiable, adding on to it doesn't solve the problem.
It's a work in progress. And last June.
I'm not arguing with you. What I'm saying is Joel Johnson should inform the council so we can make an informed decision about this.
Okay. I motion to table it, until next meeting, until you talk to Joel Johnson.
Because I've got a file back there. You guys want to look at it?
Motion by Warren to table that building permit until the next meeting. Is there a second?
So that means that they won't be able to dig and make this corner, fix this corner. Because my husband was hoping to do that in this weekend or maybe next weekend.
There's a motion on the floor to hold this building permit until next month. Is there a second? If there's no second, it dies for lack of second.
I motioned earlier for it to be approved, but she said not to approve that because Joel Johnson might not approve of what the thing is.
Is there any way we can make a motion like tomorrow and call Joe?
He's the one that called me, and I said, Joe, I really appreciate that because you're the first one that has been confirming some of my feelings that I've had.
Let me answer the question. So, you could do some kind of motion to continue, contingent upon, so for instance, you could do a motion that you approve the construction contingent upon Joel Johnson indicating that the building permit request would solve the unoccupiable issues. Because if Joel tomorrow says, oh yeah, look, they're fine, solve all the problems, then you have tonight granted permission.
But how long is this all going to take?
I don't know.
I don't know, 2 years.
I hope not 2 years. My husband has done this. I just know that he does have some physical issues.
Yeah.
But, if we can get some help, I'm just saying, we have a lot of money in this. And the reason there was was no occupancy was because of the damage that happened before. And so, you know, I just asked for your mercy. I want you to think about it. He said that, he gave me some info over the phone that I was very intrigued by. And, even though I think that we have actually gotten ourselves into a place that is hurtful, because we're taking everything down where people that don't have money can't even get in to a place to stay. And I have helped the family, and I know that.
Okay. I motion to approve of the building permit contingent upon Joel Johnson, approval of it taking care of the no occupancy, abatement.
So we approve 5 year,
I mean, is there a time limit on building permits?
9 months.
9 months.
9 months, okay, then 9 months.
Well, you can always get another one after that, though. I mean, that doesn't stop it, but what I'm trying
All right.
to say.
So, we had no second on Warren's original tabled building permit next month, so no second. So now,
We have another motion on the floor to approve the building permit if it's completed within, no,
If it's
if
contingent
it's contingent upon Joel saying that,
It will take care of the basement.
right,
Right?
right,
is there a second to that motion? There's no second.
I'll second.
Second by Gloria. All those in favor of Earl Adair's building permit signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign.
Right.
Okay,
Is somebody gonna call?
now, there's a building permit for the fence. Did we already do the
we already did
motion on
that one. Yeah, that one's there.
Okay. That concludes
This is done now.
building permits. I'd like to go back to Legion Baseball.
What about my issue? Is that not on the agenda?
It is, but
It is.
Okay.
we got code enforcement is like the last thing.
My name's Tate Jesse. I'm here asking for a donation for Martin's post-use 40 annual golf tournament, the second week of August. All the benefits go to helping upgrade the field and help the team with travel funds. Last year's stuff helped us get a new backstop and ordered stuff to buy a new Christmas. Built a new Christmas.
What happened to that postman?
The old one is rotted out really
Yeah, I
bad.
know, but what happened to the new one?
It's ordered, it's at Ace. Everything's sitting there, I believe. We got busy with home games and I didn't wanna tear down the existing and need it. So as soon as our last game, home game is the 20th, and then we have regions the 29th, then we'll tear the old one down, put the new one up.
You have regions again here?
What's that?
Here, regions?
Regions is in winter this year. And with the golf tournament, we've made quite a little money, and that's the main fundraiser for the Legion Baseball. We're trying to get grants right now. I'm working with, I talked with Anthony a little bit, and I'm working with Amy Cook's house to get all new lighting. Our light bill is really high, so we're hoping with raising more money, we can possibly get all new LED lighting for that field.
What kind of a figure did you have in mind?
Anything helps. I think the last few years is a 500 or 1,000.
It was a $500.
And usually what you guys do, the county matches.
Council? Do you want to donate to the?
How much?
500.
500?
I bet the fireworks deal off my sweats put a damper on your guys' fundraising, hasn't
We
it?
did. See, and that's it has. But the fireworks go to Martin baseball, so it goes through the T-ball to 12-year-olds. And that has had to step in since the Legion has not helped with the Legion team. That's stepped in and helped as well. So the main firework is the younger kids, so the Legion is the main fundraiser is that golf tournament.
The golf tournament you're talking?
Yes.
When is
I
it?
move we donate $500 to the American Legion Baseball golf tournament.
I'll second that.
Motion by Larry to donate $500, second by Tyler. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Or is, right now it's set for August 10th. Unless the boys make state this year, we're gonna have to bump it back a week because the state baseball's over August 10th. And I make all the boys come to work for the golf tournament. Thank you, guys.
You need to finish your water bill.
Okay. Next on the agenda, pass new water bills.
It was on the new table.
Oh, it's on the table, was that this?
Yeah.
Oh, that. I just,
Yeah.
I motion to handle.
I'll get a hold of our bills at mutual.
Sounds good.
Everything coming in?
Motion by
Except the
Warren,
ones that are off.
motion by Warren to handle past new water bills as we have in the past. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Tyler. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Code enforcement. Anthony.
Thank you, council. I guess my question, first of all, before I make my presentation is, did everybody get a copy of the letter that I submitted to Jean?
Yes.
Okay, did everyone read the letter?
Yes. Don't insult our intelligence.
I'm not insulting your intelligence because at
I'm just
sometimes,
saying,
I understand, but this is the thing. I took the time to write it, you should take the time to read it, right?
definitely.
Okay, so
Don't
that's,
ever underestimate the council.
I'm not gonna answer that.
Good.
Thank you. Okay, so what is your thoughts on my letter? I guess first of all, there is no detailed report in the actual citation provided, other than he cites a section 304 of the International Property Maintenance Code. There are no photos with the citation. So my question is, I went into the finance office to get a copy of the code. This is what I was provided. You, the city council, approved this back in, I believe it was 2021-22. This is what I was provided. There is no reference in this about a international property maintenance code that was adopted by the city of Martin. What it has adopted is the International Building Code and the International Residential Code. Since you guys have not, the city council has not adopted an ordinance for this particular matter with regards to the International Property Maintenance Code, it makes this citation moot.
We didn't adopt that. But
Then where is it?
And when you came in, you asked for the building code.
No, I asked for this.
Okay.
This is what I received. I'm just going off of what I was received, Mayor.
I'm listening.
So my question is, he asked me, what am I going to do with the building? Well, I said, that's none of your business. He goes, yeah, it is my business. I said, no, it's not. You have a problem with what I responded to? Or I guess my question is, his attitude came across as like, you're just another complainer. I deal with people like you all the time in municipalities across South Dakota. He says, this is a non-response, and he hung up onto me. I thought that was very unprofessional. Yes, he did, Gloria. He hung up on me. Because I certainly didn't hang up on him. He hung up on me. Show us the documentation that He said he did not hang up on me.
I don't have documentation.
Okay, well, it's his word versus mine. I've documented it. So you're saying that what he said is different from what I'm saying, correct?
All he wanted was what you're gonna do outside of the building, and you knew when you bought it.
No, I didn't. It was not disclosed. You were the first person who
But
brought it to my
That's
attention.
your problem, because that's between the buyer and the seller.
That may be true, but he never revealed it to me.
That's not our problem. And look at it.
So,
All you need is
in other words, he is not an engineer. He can make a sidewalk calculation, say, yeah, that roof is sagging and it needs paint. I've gone inside the building. He hasn't.
He wants the outside to look halfway decent.
That may be true, but the building is not sagging. I've looked at the roof inside. It's not.
I would disagree.
Well, you can disagree, that's fine. But I've been inside the building, Gloria. I've seen the rafters. I've seen the structural components. It's functional. It's functional.
It looks terrible.
Well, of course, because your mission in this whole city is to raise any building down that doesn't make your standards. You know what? Your standards are very subjective. Yes, they are. They're subjective. Who's to say that it needs to paint? Where does it need to be painted?
The walls?
The walls. Which ones? The north wall, the south wall, the east wall? Be explicit when you're citing something. Don't be general. He further mentions Section 304. Which subsection of it that he's in reference to? You expect all the people of this county and city to memorize these codes, don't you?
No.
Well, that's what you're getting at.
Doesn't come to the office.
All right. So does the city currently have the latest standard? Because according to the ordinance, the standard says that the city is supposed to have the International Building Code, the latest standard, the International Residential Code, the latest standard. Are they sitting in for office? The code says it.
I have a copy in my office.
The latest standard, 2024.
I don't have, not sure if that's the one previous to that. I can be renewed every 3 years.
The point is, I just got that building just a few months ago. It's my mission to make it a garage, a storage shed, and to repair it. That's my goal.
Well, that's when you called me and were doing like you're now, shouting on the phone.
I'm not shouting.
You are, Anthony.
No, I'm not. I'm passionate because you know what? You're trying to be a nanny state here and trying to tell everyone how to live in their homes. You know what? This is the thing. I don't tell you how to live in your home and how you maintain it, etc. You shouldn't have to tell me how I maintain a new purchased garage that I just got, and you knew it when you approached me on it.
I also told you that he hadn't received a letter.
Yes, you did tell me that.
And he should have, and you should, being you're the buyer, you should have.
How was I supposed to know that?
He should have disclosed it. You should have went through a realtor.
Oh, okay. I will own up to that. It's my mistake. But that still is beside the point.
And then I asked you, I said, Anthony, all we want, Joel wants is, when do you plan to do something to the outside?
Right.
And I said that to you. And then you got on a tantrum and to me on the phone, and I says, you mean, Joel, you did this to Joel like you're doing to me?
No, I didn't say that. Because Joel, I told you, he wouldn't even much as provide me with the code. I asked him, why are you talking like this to me? That's no way to talk to a taxpayer.
Oh, that's the way you talk to me on the phone.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it is.
Well, again, that's your opinion. You see, it's a he said, she said thing. Right. I actually documented our conversation. I think that's worth something. Because my thoughts were in my mind at the time when I wrote it down. This is not what you're saying is hearsay, basically. Here's your attorney. Speak to her. How much is documentation worth versus hearsay? Well, my question is this. They are submitting a citation, and he said that I did not respond. And yet, in his letter, he says, if you have any questions concerning this matter, please give me a call. I followed up, like the letter says. I called him. He hung up on me. And he says that it's a non-response. So now the city's going to go after me for a non-response when clearly I did respond to the city, and I provided him with the information that they wanted. So what is the next step? I don't know what the next step is. Are they going to try to, abate my property as well?
I don't understand, I haven't seen the letter that went to you, is that what the letter says?
Yes, it basically says, submitted to my office by July 26th. Your cooperation in resolving this issue will result in no further action being taken by the city. So I went ahead and called him. I said, what specifically does it need? And he goes, well, didn't you read the letter? That was his first question. You can snicker all you want. I wrote it down. I know you and Joel are like this, Gloria.
No, we're not.
Yeah, you are.
See what you're doing?
See what you're doing? You're antagonizing the taxpayers here because essentially you guys work for us. You guys work for us. It's not the other way around, Gloria. I'm very passionate about this because, you know what? If you guys can do this to me, you can do this to anybody else in Bennett County. Taking over their own property. And you know what? It may not look beautiful to you because that's a subjective view. We have to look at it through an objective lens. What does the code say? That's what you do. All what engineers and inspectors do is they look at the code. Now, could it use a nice coat of paint? Sure. I have some ideas. I would like to have a local artist, for instance, paint the north side. Have a contest, if you will, and I would even be willing to put up the money for it, for a nice mural to decorate our town. But see, the city wants to right away raise the building rather than showing some type of positive construction for our community.
Does the letter say that they'll take down the building or just abate, which?
It doesn't say any of that. They want to know my response, and I have provided the city with the response. I said that next summer, sometime, if I can find a roofing contractor. Do you know how hard it is to find a roofing contractor in this small town?
I'm just trying to get to the bottom because I haven't read any of the steps, so I'm just trying to get down to the bottom of it. So the issue is a sagging roof and fresh coat paint, right? So is your response, you will or will not do one or the other?
I plan to do it, but it's on my time, on my dime, and when I have the available resources to do it. Because right now, I'm in the middle of a campaign, and it's costing me a lot of money.
Okay, so that's basically his response, is he's willing to do it, but not
That's all.
on the city's time.
But that's not what the letter says. The letter says you must submit your answer by the 26th, which I did before that.
Okay.
But now what's the next step that the city's going to do?
Say your answer right here is a response to the letter, so he's saying he'll do it, but not on the city's timetable, so you need to determine whether you want to hold him to the timetable indicated in his letter, or give him more time.
Give more time.
Just give them more time.
My thing is, and I've heard it from other people outside of him and Rachel, it sounds like the code enforcement officer is not very clear on what he wants somebody to do to remedy things. Because that, for Rachel, doesn't say what they need to do
Have you,
to bring it
did
up.
you go look at the house that she's talking about?
In that file is victim letter after letter after letter, so that's, there's such.
I mean,
I understand.
We understand, but you need to
Let's keep on this.
look at the house that we're talking about.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm not just saying like him, the chief of police even said, hey, you need to go write a ticket for this person's junk, and the chief of police said, I don't know what I'm writing a ticket for.
He did say that.
We've got ordinance, we've got to find a
This
bond
is
schedule
about
that
what
says
my
it.
situation is. Let's forget that, okay? This is the deal. I've taken out 100 tires out of that building, got rid of them. I have mowed the lawn very well, as you know, Gloria.
Yes, you did.
I have boarded up several of the windows that were probably not aesthetically pleasing. And I have also removed a lot of the junk on the first level. I need to get a dumpster to clean out the attic. But right now I don't have time to do that because I'm one person.
How much time do you want?
I want minimum of 2 years to get this done.
Right, so that's, I mean, to move this along, you just need to, if you're all of the opinion or majority votes,
Well,
then you get more time to decide.
Because you gotta understand, it's not easy getting a contractor, first of all, and then you have to get the materials, and then you have to actually get I have to get a building permit to do the roof. I would hope not.
No, you don't need a building permit.
Well, you made somebody do a building permit for, say, a fence. I would assume they're replacing the fence.
6 foot fence.
They're erecting a 6-foot fence, over 4 feet. I motion to give him 2 years to do the painting and the sagging.
I like your idea about the mural thing. You have that on the park.
You know what? I want to beautify this town. I'm on the same page with you. But what I don't like is when people hold a gun to my head and say, you do this or else. That is the problem. The tone of this letter is such, and this is the why, Gloria. I have a really hard time swallowing a pill from the code enforcement officer whose background is in construction, and I have a degree, a professional engineering license to look at buildings like this.
Motion on the floor by Warren, give Anthony more time, 2 years was mentioned, to improve his new acquisition. Is there a second?
I would say.
Second by Randy. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now,
Can we have the code enforcement officer be more descriptive on these things, is what I was trying to ask you.
when he comes to town, I will personally introduce him to you.
And you can come in and.
I want to make a comment.
Sure.
Anthony, a confrontational style, which you presented tonight, doesn't go well with me.
I understand, but you know what? I've been to so many meetings. I've been to so many
You don't need
meetings.
to come in here and yell at council members who are here out of their civic duty. Just keep that in mind. You're campaigning for public office. Keep that in mind. Thank you.
Next on the agenda is complaints. Are there any other complaints?
No dogs.
I am trying, Bob, and you know.
I know, and Gloria,
What?
I'm trying not to burst into tears at the moment.
Was what?
I'm trying not to burst into tears at the moment.
Are you talking about yesterday's hearing?
That was yesterday, yes.
I didn't hear about it.
Well, I can give you a more frank description of our judge. Not here in public,
Oh, that same one?
in general, we have a judge who does not want to enforce these things. Comes up with every possible hurdle for us to do so. So it is as frustrating for us as it is just about it is for you.
So I think I'm gonna try a yellow shirt next time, instead of blue.
What now?
I'm gonna try a yellow shirt next month and see if that will work, because blue doesn't cut it over here. You wear blue shirts into this courthouse and the judge will throw you away for months and come back next year.
I don't understand. What if those dogs tore into a kid and ripped his head open? What if they could?
Those dogs are on, the two biggest ones are on half-inch chain. Half-inch chain.
Rain, snow, cold, freezing, doesn't matter.
Jeez.
The chains are short. The dogs do what dogs have to do. And then they roll around in what they have done.
Well, if there's nothing else to come before this city council meeting, I would accept a motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn by Warren, second by Tyler. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Our next meeting is scheduled for August 14th.
Is that fair?
I don't know. I might do that